So I haven't been on here making a video in a while, and I wasn't going to make a video. I actually choose not to be on here unless God puts a message in my heart or something happens. As you know, those who have been following my channel, you know how it usually goes. But I believe it was Saturday, August 16th. Saturday, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, Sunday. Sunday, August 16th. First of all, there's been so much going on, but me and my children decided to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland, Ohio. And as those of you know, some of the museums on the weekends are free. You can get access to free online tickets if you purchase them online and you show an ID. They give you tickets to go to the museum. And so this was an impromptu decision to go there due to something else that happened earlier that day, an incident. So me and my children, my two young adult children, had gone to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so we weren't thinking anything of it. We were just there to enjoy ourselves. It started off okay. They had a gentleman performing basically like some type of live concert. He was performing his music from his new album. And we sat and listened to that for a while. And after that, we went downstairs. We used the restrooms, and we wanted to see the facilities. My main thing, I wanted to see the theater, because I wanted to go there, because I know last time we were there, I wasn't able to really spend much time in the theater. So they have this little cinema showing different biographies and documentaries, things like that. So we looked at some of the exhibits. My kids were playing around the garage. They love the garage, where you can play the instruments and all the music they have out there. You can basically use the instruments that are on display. So we spent some time in there. And I noticed that there was someone every time. It's always the same situation. I look, and I've gotten accustomed to being aware of my surroundings, because like I said before, everywhere I go, they have certain people, individuals follow me who are on assignment to basically harass me. They call it gang stalking. I don't call it gang stalking, but this has been going on for years, where they have a group of people everywhere I go seem to follow me or target me or surround me. So me and my kids just went upstairs on the escalator, and we finally found the theater, because at first it was taking us a while to find it. We couldn't find it. So I had gotten a copy of the guide and the map, and I looked and found it that was on the 4th floor. So we rode up to the 4th floor, and we went inside the theater. There wasn't anybody in there at first, just a few people, and it was dark. And so we sat down in the 3rd row. So as usual, when we go somewhere, they start a group of people start coming along, and I didn't think anything else of it, but I noticed a gentleman came inside and was standing off to the side. Looked like one of the ones who was following. He was standing off to the side. He didn't sit down, and there was plenty of seats. Like I said, there was barely any people there. So they were standing off to the side. Then, as we're watching the video, it resumes. 3 more people come in. They start standing around us. They weren't even sitting down. One sat on the side of us, and then another stood directly behind me. It was like 2 of them standing directly behind me, and they were talking, and I looked around and I didn't think anything else of it. And so more and more people started coming around. It's like they were surrounding us, and I'm like, oh, they're surrounding us. And I felt something, basically some psychic attacks hitting my head as usual. Like, I know how it feels, because this has been going on for years. And I'm telling you all this because this is what's led up to the incident. And so basically, it's the same thing when you feel something hitting your head. You could feel like, I don't even really know how to explain it. It's not a headache. You could tell when something feels like foggy. Your brain is starting to feel foggy and confused. And it feels like you might have taken some medication. I don't know if you've ever taken like some type of mind-numbing thing, like maybe morphine or something. It's a different sensation. And you could tell, I can always tell I'm very sensitive to it, and I'm aware of things spiritually. And I knew they were attacking me, so I turned around and said, oh, they're surrounding me. And I saw all these people standing on the side, behind me, on both sides. They're on the left and the left and right side, and they're behind me. Me and my children were just sitting in that last 3rd row with just 3 seats, and they were surrounding us. And so I was like, okay, I know they're sitting there, people. This is what's been going on for years. So I got up, and I stood against the wall, and I just started praying to God. And I know they could hear me. And one of the gentlemen scooted closer to me. He was very bold. See, this is the thing. There's a lot of people, when you get used to doing evil for so long, you become bold at it. You become so bold, you become foolish to the point where you do things that cause problems for yourself. And so I didn't do anything. I just stood against that wall, standing my ground and praying to God, asking him for justice and judgment, because they have been following me around for years. This has been going on for decades. They have been following me around since probably 2007 when I first noticed it. And so my son got up. He says, let's just leave. Let's just go. I said, we shouldn't have to run away. We should be able to go in a public place like everybody else and enjoy ourselves. We're not bothering anybody. They're surrounding us. This has been going on all along. And so my son, the wise one, he said, let's just go. He's very wise. He's very discerning. So I was like, okay, let's go. We're going to go. I was upset because we still hadn't finished listening to the cinema. We hadn't had a chance to even see the rest of the facility. And I'm getting tired of this. I'm like, at this point, I'm tired of it. And so I'm going down the stairs. We're going down the escalator. I'm so upset. And basically, I'm trying to get away from these people because I see another one who was following us earlier, and we're just going down the escalator. We end up going the wrong way because I was trying to go back to the first floor. I was trying to go back to the floor where we saw the first facility because we didn't get a chance to see that because they had the Saturday Night Live guests there, the last 50 guests. And so I wanted to see that exhibit. So I ended up getting off at the wrong place, at the wrong floor, the wrong level, and we made our way inside the gift shop. And so we had to get out of the gift shop and get back to that first level. You had to go all the way back around, past the metal detectors, past the entranceway where the guard is. And so we're walking that way. I'm saying, come on, let's go. It's so crowded there. It's always crowded. And so I'm like, come on, let's just go. We're going to go back around so I can go back downstairs. I want to see the exhibit, this SNL exhibit, because we didn't get a chance to see that one because we worked our way from the top all the way down. And so as we're walking, I asked the security guard, turned to him and asked him, said, do we have to go back through the metal detectors again? We've already been here. I have my wristband on and everything. He says, no, just go ahead. And so I'm walking, and we're walking in the middle of the floor. And next thing I know, I just started falling. And my leg, I went into like a half of a split where one leg is stretched, extended completely out. My knee, my other leg, my left leg was bent and my knee hit the floor. I'm trying to stop myself. I couldn't stop myself. There was a puddle of water in the middle of the floor that I didn't even see because there was a sign there. I didn't even see the sign. It was off to the side of the puddle. It was not directly over the puddle. I could not see it because if it was directly over the puddle, I would have saw it and I would have bumped into it. But I end up bracing my hand out to catch myself, and that's when the sign fell down with me. And I tried to stop myself from falling, from hitting the floor, but I hit the floor anyway. My left leg hit the floor, and my right leg just went into an extended stretch, like a split almost, and I felt pain. But I was able to stand back up, and immediately one of the security guards or one of the workers had saw the entire incident, and they walked over to me as my son was picking up the sign. I said, pick the sign up. And I was just standing there for a minute because I'm in pain and I'm wondering how I'm going to walk. I'm trying to process what just happened. And so one of the workers walked over to me and said, are you okay? I said, no, I'm in pain. And it was the truth. I was in a lot of pain. It's like a groin stretch or something stretched, a muscle strain. I knew I was in pain. I could feel it. And so he was like, okay, he's going to get some help. And he said, just have a seat over here. So I had to lean on my daughter and my son, and I kind of limped my way over to a seat and I sat down. They came over there, they gave me like a dry ice pack or whatever to put on my leg, my thigh, because I could feel it was just starting to hurt even more as I sat down. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm just a little bit upset that this happened. Like, this wouldn't have happened if they would have just left us alone, because I would have been still sitting inside the theater and we would have made our way down to the right floor. I'm so distracted by these people surrounding me as usual and harassing me. And they had them on assignment harassing us for years. And so they came back over to basically give me an incident report to fill out. So I filled out this incident report and I talked about everything that happened. They asked me, do you want medical attention? Do you want an EMS to come? So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm wanting an EMS to come because I want to make sure everything's okay. I'm in pain. I want to make sure just in case there's nothing seriously wrong or I'm not seriously injured. And so basically we're just filling out the incident report. I asked for a copy of that incident report because I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to file some type of legal, I'm going to talk to someone legally because I want punitive damages because, first of all, it wasn't my intent to basically file a lawsuit, but I'm thinking, I was injured in your place. I'm injured in your facility. I'm injured because of something a situation that arose from people, as usual, attacking me, harassing me, and following me around, stalking me. If they hadn't stalked us, we would have stayed inside the cinema. We wouldn't even gone in that direction. And as usual, they harass us everywhere we go. And so those events led up to what happened. Me walking past that water and falling. Not only that, I felt that they were negligent because there's water in the middle of the floor. The water should have been mopped up, and a worker came and mopped it up right after I fell. Someone came with a mop and mopped up all this was recorded on the footage they have. They have surveillance all over the place. And so I'm like, I hurt myself in this place. I'm injured. I'm in pain. Not only that, we couldn't even finish looking at the rest of the facility, the rest of the exhibit. And so the EMS I asked for a copy of basically the incident report. They would not give me a copy. They said that has to stay inside of their system. It's something they keep internally. They can't give me a copy, but they said they will have someone call me, their manager or someone from their legal team call me. And they have not called me still. Today is Tuesday. This happened on Sunday. They did not call me at all Monday, and I didn't hear anything from anybody. So they still haven't called me. But I ended up, the EMS came and they basically rushed me out of on the stretcher. I had to get on the stretcher, and I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't lift my leg up. It was around towards the hip area, the groin. I could not move it. It was hurting. I was in excruciating pain. They gave me crutches. They told me I had a leg strain. They gave me a bunch of medicine, pain medicine. And so when I got home, my kids had to help me go up the stairs, and this was like a day before my birthday, because my birthday was that next day. And I didn't have anything planned. Even if I did have something planned that day, it would have ruined it. That would have been an inconvenience to us. And so as I was sitting there, I did contact one of the attorneys, and I told them everything that happened. And they said, oh, they can't help me. They came right back, said, oh, they can't help me, and referred me somewhere else. And I knew the whole situation because this has happened before. Every time there's some type of legal issue with us, when we have a chance to file a lawsuit, they block it and no attorney will represent us. And so I felt something spiritually where they were angry at me and filled with resentment. I could feel like they're sending some type of spiritual message to me. I could feel like the resentment, like, how dare you try and file a lawsuit against us when you were coming to our museum for free. Basically, you came there, you got free tickets. Here's my thing. First of all, whether I got free tickets to come there or not, you're still liable for me, for my well-being. I have a right to see the facility in peace and have safety while I'm there. Just because you give me free tickets to go somewhere does not mean that you have a right for me to be injured in that place. This is why a lot of people don't give out food, because if something happens, whether they're giving them free food or not, and a person becomes ill because of the food they gave them, they can basically get in trouble for that. They can file a lawsuit, or they could be liable if something happens, if a person was food poisoned by accident or something happened to them and they were injured seriously. So just because I get free tickets to a facility does not mean that, oh, I can get hurt there, or you can do whatever you want to do and injure me while I'm in the place. That was your decision to give away the free tickets. I'm thankful that we had the free tickets. I would have enjoyed the event had this situation not occurred. That still doesn't have anything to do with the negligence of me falling in your facility. I still fell in your facility. You're still liable because it was negligence. There was a pile of water in the middle of the floor in a traffic place, a place that's filled with traffic, highly populated place. Not only that, the sign wasn't covering the puddle where I could see it. Like I said, I didn't see it after I fell. I didn't see the sign till it fell down with me when I'm holding my hand out trying to keep myself from falling on the floor. And I had to, not only that, like I said before, these are the things that's going on. The covert racism in this country that people say is gone. There's no racism here. The covert discrimination and prejudice. I go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as usual. There's nothing but Caucasian faces everywhere. You never see hardly any black faces. It's like they don't want us there. It's like you'll smile at us. When I look in the comments in certain videos, when I look at on social media, they'll say bring back segregation. You already have segregation. You have it in a way that is very covert. Segregation spiritually, when, like I said before, there's spiritual blockages and veils put up where certain people cannot have access to these places. And so every time I come in these places, they attack me. They'll do psychic attacks on me. I'll leave the place with headaches and all kinds of things, feeling sick or ill. Like I went to a museum recently, a history museum. I left out, they basically had something attacking me in my throat. And they'll do all kinds of things. You see nothing but the same faces. And it's like you can feel the rage, like they really don't want us there. It's like you're still in the mindset of the days where there was slavery. They have not, that has not left certain people. They still have that same perspective and mindset. So like I said, I go to these places and it's always the same faces. You don't see, it's not diverse. There's not a diverse population of people there. And you can't just say, oh, because maybe they don't listen. There's all types of music in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They have rappers on exhibit. They have R&B music artists. They have soul music, from jazz, all that. So you're telling me that there's not a diverse population that listens to those that type of music? Every time I go there, I only see the same Caucasian faces. And then you follow me around, you stalk me, you harass me, you surround me and start attacking me spiritually and thinking I don't know what's going on. This has been going on for years. This is why I know what's happening. This has been going on, like I said, since 2007. And so not only that, you're basically getting away with doing evil things in secret, covert things. Like, I'll give you an example. I live on the west side. Like I said, I had to move out. I don't have a home. They caused me to lose my home. I don't have any house, I have nothing. And I've been living basically with a relative. And I went into a Trader Joe's because I love Trader Joe's. It was one of my favorite stores. Every time I go in Trader Joe's, they would always surround me in Trader Joe's and follow me around, like hover around me where I can't shop or I can't focus. And whenever I leave out of Trader Joe's, last time I went to Trader Joe's out in Westlake, I left out of the Trader Joe's. When I went home, they started this person that they have used, this man, to attack me for years. I guess he's on assignment to attack me spiritually and penalize me whenever I do something. He started attacking my feet. He started digging in my feet like he always does, using some type of, I don't know, he uses sorcery, but I can feel the pain. It's like someone who takes a knife. Imagine someone taking an instrument or a knife and they're just digging it. They're digging it in so excruciating pain. But I've gotten to the point where, yes, it still hurts me, but I can zone out of it and try to detach myself from what's happening and not focus on it, even though it's still painful. And I wake up or I'll get up and I'll stand on my feet and I'm limping. So this man started digging in my feet because he's like, basically punishing me for walking into their store. They don't want me shopping in their store. So they had me sending me some advertisement to shop at an online store. This online store is very expensive. They sell health food in this online store, but it's very expensive, and they don't sell fresh produce. They don't sell fresh produce. They sell frozen things, frozen foods. They don't sell anything that's fresh. So where am I going to get my fresh foods? I shop at Trader Joe's because it's inexpensive and they have the foods that I like. And so I haven't gone in Trader Joe's after that because I felt he's attacking me because the residents there don't want me shopping in their store. And I've been new this for a while now. They don't want, and as usual, you see the same white faces all over the whole store, probably one minority person in the store. But they got to the point where they keep it segregated in a spiritual means. They want only their pristine neighborhoods, cities, communities, stores, and places just for them to shop at. And when you shop in the store, certain people, they will basically spiritually attack you or penalize you. And so this is what I went to God about, because first of all, there's no law that states that you cannot shop in certain stores unless those stores have memberships, like Costco or BJ's. Those stores, you have to have a membership to shop at. But there's no law that states that you cannot shop in a store that's outside of the zip code where you reside. And this is what these people have been doing for years, getting mad if I shop at their stores. They call it their stores because the taxpayers are paying money in the city that they're living in. It's a public place. It's a public place that's receiving money from whoever shops there. If you don't want us in your stores, you need to make a public law that tells us that we can't shop there. Not do something that's covert. I haven't broken any laws, and this is why I got mad at God. I'm like, they're sending this man to attack me and punish me for shopping in their stores when I'm not even breaking a law. And this is another form of the racial discrimination that's been going on secretly and covertly. And so you don't want us shopping in your neighborhoods. You don't want us living in your communities. You don't want us going to your schools or being on your jobs. And you restrict us in different ways, spiritual ways. And like I said, usually God would use me to shop in these places, or certain people will shop there first, and then he'll open the door for everybody else to come in. That's not what I was doing. I was just there to shop because I like shopping there. But I said, I'm not going to go in their store. Fine. It's funny how they can take stuff out of us, use our DNA, use our brains, use our minds, use our talents and our gifts to build up everything, take things from other people and build up your stuff only for you. And then when you need something, you come back to us to take it. Like I said, they have been siphoning things out of me for years, siphoning my energy, siphoning my health, siphoning my strength, siphoning my youth, siphoning my knowledge, the creativity, the innovation that God has placed inside of me. You're taking that stuff. God had told me a long time ago not to work on their jobs so they cannot take from me. Guess what? I haven't worked on anybody's job in years because they have attacked me anyway. When I tried to work on the last job, they basically were attacking me relentlessly and sending radiation there, sending arrows to attack me, sabotaging my work, surrounding me as usual. It's just like the person who's controlling everything. There's a head controlling them, and all those beneath the puppets, they're minions, and they use them basically to attack. So I haven't worked on any of their jobs probably since, it's been a couple of years now. And it hasn't been consistent. Last time I worked on a job was only for 2 weeks. And I quit right away. That was Cross Country Mortgage, and I already talked about what happened there. And so I told God, I said, I renounced of everything. I don't work on any of their jobs. They call their corporations that they're built up by their people. And like God told me before, many of them have used sorcery and stolen from his kingdom, because this is all his stuff. He said the earth and the heavens belong to him. And so I don't work on their jobs, so they have no right to be taking anything from me. I don't get anything from anyone. The only thing I get, like I said before, is $310 a month in food stamps. I have no income coming in. I don't work because I can't work. I can't work in any of their jobs, because when you work at their jobs, they feel that they have rights to you to take what they want. And that's another thing I told God. I've renounced of everything. I don't work on any of their jobs anymore. I'm not part of any of their kingdom. I'm not a part of this, so they have no right to just come and take what they want from me. And that's another thing we're going to get at. You feel because you give someone welfare or government assistance, that you have a right to oppress them. Just back to the free thing. If you go back to the museum, just because I got free tickets to the museum doesn't mean you have rights to do what you want to me and hurt me and oppress me. The word in the Bible talks about how to do good to the poor. We're supposed to give out of the kindness of your heart, not giving to want something in return, or giving to oppress another human being and put them in a bondage, and now you have rights to take from them. And the Lord has been showing me this has been happening for years. They've been stealing things from me, stealing things from his people, because they're on government assistance. And when we're on government assistance, a lot of times we're on government assistance because you block us from making our own money. You block us from having access to things that are basically meant for him. And like I go back and say, they don't want us to have access to the communities and neighborhoods. God created this entire world for him and his people to enjoy freely. And when you want everything for yourself, it reminds me of a child that is on a playground and they don't want any of the other kids to play with the toys. They hoard up all the toys to themselves, and a lot of the time, the toys don't even belong to them. They hoard up all the toys, or sometimes they might take toys from other children and they want no one else to play with it but them. They don't want to share. They don't know how to share. And you might use the excuse that, okay, when certain black people go in the neighborhoods, they mess up the neighborhoods. Yes, I've seen the videos, the numerous videos that you point out and show, the numerous videos of black people acting ghetto, black people fighting in stores. And yes, that's something that should not be done. And those people should be prohibited from going to those stores. Those are the people that should be banned and corrected, and having their privilege and access restricted and revoked, not you punish an entire race of people. When I see a white masked gunman who has shot up an entire public place, there's no outrage saying that white people should be banned from these stores, or we don't want white people in the neighborhoods anymore because they're unsafe due to the serial killers and the mass murderers who are attacking people. But every time there is a minority person that commits an offense, you hold it against them and say that is how the entire race acts, or you use that as an excuse to prevent them from having access to things and saying, let's bring back segregation. That is what is in your heart all along. That's already in your heart. You don't want anyone around but yourselves because of the pride, because of the superiority. And I asked God told me a long time ago that a lot of Caucasian people would not be making it in his kingdom. And I'm not trying to turn this into a race thing, but this is just to spread light and awareness on everything, how it's gone. He said a lot of them would not be up there because of their pride. You walk around like the world belongs to you. You still treat us like we're not even human. Like I said, I fell on that floor. And let a white person have fallen, they can file for compensation. They can get, this started with you all. Most white people will sue for any little thing, any frivolous event, and they'll get compensated greatly for it, majority of the time. But when we try to, you block us, you discriminate against us, or you say we're poor, or no, we don't have a claim, it's a frivolous claim. I've had numerous times where I could have filed a lawsuit for something that was legitimate and serious offenses. Like the time my daughter got a concussion when she was going to Susquehanna Township Middle School, and they refused to have her on the special needs bus. They had her on the general population bus with all the other regular students, and a girl got into a fight with her and pummeled her and basically assaulted her. The teacher told me all of that, and she ended up with a concussion. I couldn't file a lawsuit against them. They blocked her. No one would take that case. My daughter was injured. She faced pain. The second time was when one of the FedEx workers, we had ordered a couch, and some type of couch that she put together was very heavy. It had iron pieces for the legs and leather pieces for the seat and for the head of the couch. It was some type of couch/chair that we ordered from basically a furniture place. This man left our box sitting on the ground level outside of the building instead of carrying it up the stairs. He was the delivery driver for FedEx. And so me and my mother together, we called and told them that they left downstairs. No one came. They said they would come and bring somebody back to pick it up. No one ever came. Me and my mother together had to carry that thing up 3 flights of stairs. My mother already had a stent in her heart due to having a heart attack previously. And she ended up in the hospital with heart pains right after that. And they gave her a 3-day stay in the hospital. That was the second time. Third time, there was a woman driving a police car who crashed into the back of my car. And the fourth time, there are a lot of events. Just like when my children were taken out of the home by foster care, you put them in foster care to cover up the covert crimes that a man was doing to me and my children spiritually and assaulting us. And you told me you wanted to keep my kids from around me because the man was targeting me, but that didn't stop him from targeting my children. We know that was a lie. So I'm on here because there have been many times where I could have filed a claim and I had a chance to file a lawsuit, but there was no one who would take the case, because you make it so that no one can take the case. When it comes to certain people, you don't allow your people to take a case, but if it's your people, they'll have a case and you'll take the case right away and they'll be able to file a claim. And so they have stopped me from filing a lawsuit, and that's okay because I have a judge here. I have a judge. And like I said before, I was injured. I was injured inside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you don't want me to go there anymore, that's fine. I don't have to go there. That's a petty way of thinking of it instead of being liable. You had a puddle of water on the floor. Not only that, I had men and standing around me as usual. It's the same event, the same situation. And God knows what happened. You might try to say, oh, she's crazy. This has been going on for years. In this country here, right here in the United States of America, probably all over the world, you have people being stalked and harassed. You have people who are being attacked spiritually, or people who are being spiritually oppressed, put in a bondage, or you're taking things from them. You're binding yourselves to them. You're using sorcery upon them. You're stealing things from them. Like I have all this fat all over my legs and body. No matter what, they're putting their burdens on me. I can't even fit my clothes. I don't have money to buy clothes. I can't keep buying clothes, but you're putting your burdens on me. And you feel you have a right to do it, or because I'm getting government assistance, or because I'm poor. You've been oppressing the poor for years and doing evil things to poor. And like I said, if I can't file a lawsuit, but there have been people who have filed lawsuit for far less things. For far less things, and they have been compensated. You'll reward your people. You'll compensate your people. But you expect me to be able to just suck it up and deal with the pain. Now, no matter what, even if I'm injured in your local store, in your facility, in your place of location, I'm injured in a public place, and I'm supposed to just, suck it up because you gave me free tickets to go to the museum. So I should be happy that I was able to be afforded free tickets. That's basically what you're saying. That I don't have rights to any type of compensation. I had to have an ambulance taking me out of that place. They're going to charge me for an ambulance bill. Not only that, pain and suffering. I was injured, and I'm still in pain. My leg is healed up quite a bit. I've actually recovered nicely, where I'm able to walk now. At first, I couldn't walk without the crutches. I couldn't even lift my leg up to go up the stairs. But now I'm able to move around. I still cannot lift my leg all the way up because it hurts still in that area. But there was an injury that happened. I experienced an injury in a public location due to no fault of my own. There was a puddle of water in the middle of the floor. There was a sign that was there, but the sign was kind of obscure. It was not in a place where I could actually see the sign immediately. It was not covering the puddle. It was not in a blatant way where I could see it. I did not see it until I fell down. And not only that, like I said before, if those people had not been harassing me and following me around and using the psychic attacks and attacking me spiritually, messing with me and my children, this would not have happened. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to file the lawsuit in the first place, because I'm tired of being mistreated. I'm tired of being oppressed. I'm tired of things happening in this country where there's nothing being done about it, and everyone wants to sweep it under the rug and pretend that these events are not happening, pretending that you're not stalking people, you're not harassing people, you're not putting people in a spiritual bondage, you're not using sorcery and witchcraft. The sorcery in this country has gotten so far out of hand, and that's something you're going to have to answer to God about, because he says sorcery and his law, that is breaking of his law, is something that you're not supposed to do. So those of you who have engaged in that type of stuff, you're going to have to answer to him. As he says, offenses come into this world, but woe unto that man who offenses come by. Not only that, the covert racism and discrimination everywhere, where you want to go all over this country, where certain places, nice areas, or places just to go with your family, you only see the same Caucasian faces. And you start to ask yourself and question, why is that? In 2026, we go to places where all you see is Caucasian people. It's not that other people don't want to have access to it, it's because you're limiting their access in covert ways. How are you limiting their access? By ganging up on them, gang stalking them, oppressing them spiritually, putting them in a bondage where they can't go anywhere, keeping them refrained in this house. Like I said, I can't even run down the street. I used to run, I stay in close to Rocky River. I used to run to the little, basically they have a nature trail there. They get mad, they don't want me there. And they take my stamina out of my legs where I can't even make it up the street anymore. And they do this because they don't want me there. And they'll let me know they don't want me there. They'll let me know spiritually, you're not supposed to be up there. They don't want me there because they don't want other people to start gaining access to it. They don't want other black people or other minority people or ghetto people. I'm not ghetto, but they don't want certain people having access to a public place, a recreation, a reservation that they've built up with their hands. And so this is what's been happening, that you build up certain public places, but you only want it for your people. You don't put a sign up saying, oh, you're not allowed, blacks not allowed, or poor people not allowed, minorities not allowed, because that will be discrimination. But you find a means to do it secretly, covertly, by attacking a person, by putting up spiritual veils where they can't have access to it, or intimidating them when they come there. God has been breaking it down slowly, but this is one of the reasons why I've suffered for years, because God showed me all of this that was happening. When I went to Pennsylvania, he had showed me all these spiritual fences, and I wrote books about it that they kept people from looking at. They blocked those books spiritually, and I really don't care. Like I said, when this is over and done with, even whether you believe in a God or not, there's a judge, a King of Kings, I am, Lord of Lords. You're going to have to answer to them. But God showed me all the spiritual fences that had been placed all over this country. And he wanted his people free. That was the whole point of me going down there. I didn't even know why I was down there, but the Lord let me know all this stuff when I was down there. I was fasting heavily, and I had the Spirit and the anointing was working so heavily inside of me. And I was praying for his people to be free. I was running around the city. He had me running to the point where I could run 16 miles nonstop. And I was just running all over the places, basically bringing down the strongholds that were over those communities so his people could have access to it, because he said he wanted his people to have access. He created this earth and his land for everybody to enjoy, not just one great race of people. And that's the problem, that this one race of people who feel superior, they only want their group to be allotted and experience these types of things. And basically this didn't even belong to you. This was God's stuff. He wanted them to have their own inheritance. That's what he wanted. And so they penalized me and my children for years. I had to suffer, where they blacklisted me. They stalked me wherever I go. They kept me in captivity. They took my kids out of the house. They said that I did all these crimes like treason. They put me on a spiritual radar where they're monitoring me. They attack me relentlessly. I've had nearly about 35 heart attacks. I've had days where I cannot breathe. They're sending respiratory demons to cause respiratory problems to me. They have basically tried to kill me with COVID numerous times, and it's only by the grace of God that I'm here. But they were attacking me relentlessly. They had this man cutting in my legs and my feet. All types of things. I've had excruciating headaches. They would send every type of spiritual attack that you can think of. And it's only by God's grace that I'm alive. They retaliate against me. And again, I go to the judge. You might want to retaliate against me for making this video. And that's fine, because God is my shield and my fence and my fortress. And you're not fighting me, you're fighting him. I am a human being. And whether you have problems with certain people or not, it's the pride that you have to work out of your heart. You tell me to be kind. You send little references about being kind. Were you kind when you oppressed my children? Were you kind when you retaliated against me and made me your slave because you didn't want certain people free, and because they were free and you wanted to hold certain people in captivity even when they were supposed to be free and the Constitution states otherwise? You want to hold them in a spiritual bondage and keep them as your slave. And since God used me to free those people, you put me and my children in bondage. You basically made me the scapegoat and the burden carrier. Was it kind when you had people assaulting us? Was it kind when you give us government assistance, you give us food because you say you want to help the poor and needy, but then you turn around and make us pay for it by putting your burdens on us and stealing everything out of us spiritually? Like our knowledge, our energy, our health, our strength, and everything else that we have. And then you wonder why a lot of people are running around and they don't know how to behave. The Lord told me that a while ago, that they were taking their brains out of them. They had taken so much out of them that these people cannot even function. They have destroyed them. Their frontal lobes are destroyed. And many of them were the product of drugs and alcohol. Yeah, a lot of them had basically learning disabilities and they can't comprehend. But where did all that derive from? And so now we penalize these people. Yes, I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. There are some people who just do not know how to carry themselves. And yes, that's a problem. If God gives you access to something and he allows you freedom, you're supposed to carry yourself the right way in a civilized manner. When you go outdoors, you're supposed to be civilized. And if you don't know how to be civilized, you need to ask God to help you become civilized. No one wants to be around a loud ghetto person, a person who does not know how to act, a person who is violent. But at the same time, you're not supposed to restrict that person from having access to certain things unless you blatantly tell them, hey, this is not for you. There should be blatant laws that people understand that they're not supposed to have access to these places. That's why they have private country clubs. They limit the access by having memberships, or they say only a certain class can afford this because they want to weed out someone who is of a lower class. So there's ways to do it, but what you're doing when you're doing it covertly and you're doing it spiritually and committing violence against people and actual crimes, that's something that God has a problem with. And like I said, not to digress, but I have a right for compensation because I was injured, and that's okay. If I don't get the compensation, that's fine. It's not okay because, like I said, if this had happened to someone of a different race, most likely they would have been compensated. I didn't see the water. I didn't see the water there. Those people were harassing us the entire time we were there. That's the problem. Everywhere we go in public, they're harassing us. We can't go anywhere in peace without someone following us and using sorcery and attacking us and ganging around us and surrounding us. It's blatant the way they do it. They think that no one knows. But like I said, this has been happening. When something has been happening to you for nearly 2 decades, you become accustomed to learning what it is. You can recognize it almost immediately. And so I wanted compensation. I wanted punitive damages, and I do go to the judge, whether I get someone here on this earth, because I know all the attorneys are controlled by your group. You control that network. Majority of the attorneys cannot do what you don't allow them to do, but I have a judge that you don't control. And that's the King of Kings. That's I am. Thank you.